What's up guys, Max115 here, welcome back to another VP Push episode in Boom Beach. If you saw the thumbnail to this video, then you've also noticed that we've finally hit another huge milestone in this channel, which was 1,500 victory points. Currently, as you can see, I am at 1,511 victory points because I have been working on my map. There's still a couple of bases left, but I don't know if I'm going to keep on trying. Excuse me, because I have no gold. Look at... See, I have only 300,000 gold, which is just barely enough for me to retrain one more group of troops, and then that's it. So I don't know if I want to keep on playing tonight. I'm actually pretty happy where I was. I started playing tonight at 1480 something. So, you know, I went up like a good 15 victory points from where I was standing. So I may just stop playing there. So at 1511, let's take a look. I haven't checked this part yet. See, where am I? Oh wow, 37 global, not bad, huh? That means that there's only 36 people sitting on top of me in the whole world right now, so that's actually pretty sweet. We still have a lot of work to do in regards to pushing, but I'm actually pretty happy where I am now. There's still 3 bases left on my map, but one of them is 10 eyes, the other 2 are like top 2 and 3 players, so I don't know if I win. I may give them a try, but I'm not too confident about defeating them. The other thing that helped me a lot tonight, if you notice, I have 2 little troop damaged guardians. The reason for that is that I made the extra 13% like 2 days ago, and you know, 13% perfect guardian is kind of I found it really difficult to just reclaim it, so I just left it sitting on my sculptor for a few days, and then tonight I felt like, you know what, I'm just going to use it because it'll help me raid some of the tougher bases, and then I'll just switch it back for another ice statue, so that's why. But you know, having the extra damage, my troops are actually super beefy tonight, so I have some really good replays to show you guys because some of these were like nice. I'm going to start with I had a base with TGRM, so I'm not going to show you this one because it's a long video, and he only had 2 ice statues, so not really worth looking. But look, I have 114% troop damage, which is an all-time high for me. I've never had this much troop damage. This base here was the creme de la creme for me tonight because it was a 7 ice statues, all 7 of them boosted. I've had him on my base since yesterday. Oh, this is loud. Yesterday I attacked him about 8 times, but I was always just a little shy of health in the HQ. I needed a little bit of extra troop damage, so that's why I put the extra guardian out there. I mean, I had already made him. It's a perfect guardian, so I may as well use them. So I mean, look at this 7 ice statue. Isn't that brutal? So anyways, nothing too unconventional from this attack. You know, clear what was it, a mortar, and then flare all my troops to the corner, re-flare them. Maybe we can zoom in so you guys can see a little bit better. Let me just pause it because there was a lot of strategy involved in this. It's not just, you know, flare and let the Zookas take out the HQ. If you notice, he has a laser beam which can cut through all the Zookas. So where I dropped the critters, that was absolutely key. So here, let me flare to the boom cannon, and you see where I put the critters right by the machine gun. You see the trajectory in which the laser beam launches its beam. It's outside of my troops, and that was a deliberate attempt because I couldn't afford having it shoot at me. So right there, the first time I attacked him, I put the critters right in front of my troops, and the laser beam just cut through my Zookas. At this point, since I had already lost a few heavies, the remainder of the troops were actually standing outside of the range of the laser beam, and then you can see how the Zookas just kind of blasted down that HQ. It looked kind of easy since I'm showing you this replay, but believe me, this was actually a pretty challenging base, and like I said, it took me 8 tries yesterday. I couldn't beat it. I don't think I could have beaten him if it hadn't been for the extra troop damage tonight. So, you know, credit to that. Then I moved on to Boris Base. This is another heavy Zooka. Heavy Zooka is just so fun if you can pull it off. This base had 5 ice statues, 4 of them boosted. Similar thing, it was a corner base, but this time it had a shock blaster behind the HQ. So I decided to go all the way to the end of the beach, of the base, right behind the HQ. So I put all my troops. This time I put 3 troops of heavies in the front first because of that rocket launcher. For some reason it was just kind of getting me. So I put 3 boat of heavies, and then all the Zookas behind, and then the last boat of heavy. Let them take out some of the buildings in the front so I could get a little bit of extra gunboat energy and then start smoking them. I don't like when they put the sawmill or the big buildings in the front because you have to be really careful with your smoke. I mean, if you miss it by a little bit, some of your troops will walk outside of it, so I have to be very careful. Same thing when you smoke around the HQ. See how some of the troops walk on both sides? You have to be just very... because the smoke is just barely a little bit wider than the building itself. So reflare, this time I flared to that rocket launcher because otherwise that thing was going to kill all my troops. So take that out of commission first and then let the troops take out that mortar, which had killed me also one time before, and then the shock blaster. This time, because there was no laser beam, this one was much easier base. So I threw critters right on top of my heavies, shock the boom cannons because that's key. The 2 boom cannons shooting at your heavies will just drop them, and if you don't have heavies, then your troops will not survive. I put a critter, a group of critters right there. That was mainly to distract the shot launcher, and you'll see it actually does a really nice job. See the shot launcher just busy in there, and that just kind of let my troops finish off the HQ. That left me just with 1 heavy. You'd be surprised how long 1 heavy can last you when it's being shot by rocket launchers or shot launchers. It's just not effective against big single shooters like boom cannons, but 1 heavy can actually last a long time. So when you do this strategy, you don't actually need too many heavies, as long as you can shock the boom cannons. So that was Boris Base. XYW, it's a base that I've probably taken him down like a handful of times by now. He was a super easy base. I think he changed his statues. I don't remember him being this easy. He only had, what is it, like 2 ice statues maybe? Maybe not even, just 1 building health masterpiece. The only tricky part was that laser beam and the damage amplifier, because all the things that were amplified were all the things that can just, slice through your Zookas. So, that was the only challenging part, but the HQ itself not having a shield, it was still just pretty easy. And, since I am boosted, my gunboat energy is boosted, I had a lot of gunboat energy to just shock around. So you'll see a reflare and then flare straight to the HQ, drop some critters, and then we're just going to shock all the big splash damage. The 2 mortars, the laser beam, and the 2 rocket launchers. So that HQ came down really quickly. I barely lost any troops in there, I think. So that was actually a pretty good base. It was kind of easy, but I'll just throw it in there to show you guys. So this is just classic heavy Zooka pre-shield times. I miss those times, although it used to be much harder to defend back then. Moving on. This base, this poor guy, I beat him yesterday, and he spawned again today on my map, and I used the exact same strategy and the exact same technique I used yesterday, which was just put this heavies and Zookas. Lucky for me, you see where that flare is? I love that he had that wide space sitting in there for me, so I didn't have to barrage anything, so I have full gunboat energy at that point. So put down all my troops, take down one of the sniper towers, and then just smoke them out. He also kind of had a nice little path where my troops could walk in a very, very straight line, so I didn't have to worry about anything. All I needed to do was just wait for my troops, well, the Zookas, to kind of catch up in there. And as soon as that first flare is running out, I throw in second right in between the 2 stone storages. Then we go for the mortar, because that's a big splash damage. Drop some critters, distract all this stuff in front of us. Mind you, he had 5 ice statues, 4 of them boosted, so he had quite a bit of boost. And then the Zookas will just do a wonderful job of destroying all the buildings around it. All I needed was for them to take down that flamethrower, which it went down, and then the sawmill. As soon as the sawmill went down, throw a flare and 2 smokes. And at this point, I had a ton of Zookas. Plus, in addition of my extra troop damage, I mean, today was a lot easier than yesterday. Yesterday it took me a few tries, but once I figured it out, critters and shot, that was key. What I shot, the flamethrower and the shot launcher together, and then the mortar and the shock blaster behind them. And look at how easy that went down. I had a crap ton of Zookas in there. Yesterday I beat it, but I only had a little handful of Zookas left, because of course I had a lot less troop damage, and I also had and well, it was the first time I took down the base, but today I kind of knew how to take him down, so it was a lot easier. Next we had Jupiter's base. Jupiter's base I failed many times because he's a corner base, and I try to use heavy Zooka on him, but for some reason, I don't know why, but these 2 buildings, the quarry and the iron mine, plus that shop mine in there, man, it just kind of got me every single time. I lost maybe like 8 times, but not because I didn't lose all my troops. It's just the landing was, I just couldn't get the landing right. So I was like, screw it, he does have a lot of ice. So all I had to do was just switch to heavy Zooka. Not heavy Zooka, RZCM, 3 bolts of rifles, 3 bolts of Zookas, 1 medic, 1 cryoneer. And then, man, this was actually a complete massacre. Just put down all the troops right there, put a little flare and a smoke. Ooh, Lord Carnage. He always writes messages late at night, because I know he's in Australia. So you put all the troops under a smoke there so they can just kind of explode out of there. Throw some critters because there were 3 mines behind the sniper tower, and after that there was not a lot. There were no flamethrowers, which was the best part in the front. So 1 pack of critters would just distract all those big single shooters. And man, again, because of that extra damage I have and the extra boat of Zukas, I was just eating this entire base away. It was actually a really good attack. I mean, from here on, we can probably just leave the screen right there and just watch them spread out the whole way. My idea was to just kind of let them just destroy the rocket launcher and the shot launcher, and then right after that I was going to just flare them all the way to the left and then go up north. But they did such a great job that I didn't have to reflare, and you'll see that the troops are starting to spread out really wide. But because I had so many Zukas and all the extra troop damage, man, I can't give enough credit to that one little guardian. It makes such a big difference on RZM. And look at the way they're just eating away at the base. I don't have to do anything except throw for some critters and, you know, throw a couple of shocks on the key defenses. But right after that, I mean, look at them. A couple of Zukas are already going for the shield. There was nothing left in the bottom there. That shock blaster is gonna go down in a second, and I was getting, of course, a ton of gunboat energy from wiping down the entire base. So there goes 1 shock on the flamethrower, mortar, and shot launcher, which was the most important weapon defense. And then after that, you know, box of critters, just because, you know, I was just messing around at that point. I really didn't care. I was so confident. The shield was down. I had a ton of Zukas. Well, I lost a few to those mines, but a good amount of Zukas down here, and that HQ just went down super easy. And you know, the part that I hate is that I had already failed so many times against him with heavy Zuka. But anyways, as long as I got him at the end, I'm happy. Curtain Space is next. This time we switch back to a TRM because why not? You know, it's a corner base with a laser beam, I think. Yeah. This one was actually a pretty beefy base with 5 ice statues, all 5 of them boosted. But I kind of beat a similar layout base like that yesterday, so put all the troops. Oh, by the way, I went with 2 bolts of rifles, I believe. I think it was this one. Anyways, drop the barrage and 2 artilleries on those 2 boom cannons by the HQ, so I didn't have to deal with that. Look what a great job the rifles are doing in the front there, taking all the flak from that cannon and boom cannon there. Throw some critters because there were 2 boom mines in there, and you know, boom mines can still inflict quite a lot of damage on the tank. So right there, watch those tanks just eat away at the base. It's pretty much the exact same strategy with RZM, but you know, because it was a laser beam, you know, using Zukas wasn't ideal, I guess you could say. So I decided to just go with tanks. It's a little slower and it's more difficult with tanks because you have less compared to rifles, because you have a lot of rifles. But anyways, it was a really lucky thing for me that I was able to shock the shot launcher and the boom cannon together in there. That cannon on the top there by the statue was just picking off my tank, so I had no other choice but to drop 2 artillery shells on him. And then right there, once the boom cannon and the shot launcher in the middle fell, then I flared to the left side, and we can go a little bit quicker here. There goes the second boat of rifles. Yes, the second boat of rifles was to kind of buffer all the damage from the boom cannon and the cannon up here. So let's just give them a little bit of time. Once they move in a little bit closer, right there, I threw some critters. Oh, there we go, 1 time speed. But the critters kind of died really fast because of the flamethrower and machine gun there. But it didn't matter. The rifles finally caught up, and they started to taking all the shots from the cannon. And then, you know, there were that freaking rocket launcher kind of killed all of my rifles up. If it wasn't for that one thing, I mean, it still took a few shots from the boom cannon, which is great. Then I dropped some critters, mainly to trigger that shot mine. Plus, critters work like rifles. They'll just distract the boom cannon for a little while. At this point, I don't think I had any more gunboat energy left. And I wasn't too sure if I was going to beat the base, because look at that boom cannon. It's just picking up my troops. I threw one artillery shell in there, but it was kind of slow. And look, I only had a handful of tanks, and they were all pretty red. And that shot launcher was still freaking shooting at me, so I wasn't too confident. But you know what? I was so invested already in the base. I was like, we have to try. Plus, the two boosted rocket launchers shooting at me wasn't helping, so I started throwing med kits because that's all I could afford. I couldn't do any more shocks. Right there, another med kit in the other group of tanks. I needed them to destroy the machine gun and then the flamethrower. Oh no, I think we flared straight in there. Did I? Oh, well, flamethrower first, and then I had enough gunpowder and used to throw that flare, and then once flare straight to that shock launcher, and after that, you know, straight to the HQ. And look at the time. I was actually coming down on time. I think I beat him with, well, I mean, I still have like a good 10 or 15 seconds left, but still, that was a tough base. Look at all that ice just, you know, throbbing in there. So that was a pretty tough base. And then the last base, how long is this video already? All right, we can show you one more base. Why not? It's the last one. It's almost exact same layout, except that this one has 4 ice statues as opposite of 5. And that makes a big difference. That extra troop guardian, I mean, it allowed me to take down those boom cannons a lot easier. Look at that, just take down the 2 boom cannons with 1 barrage, 3 artillery shells each, and then the exact same principle. Just put down all the rifles in front, and look at them just absorb all the shots from that big boom cannon in the front there, which was great. And then in the meantime, my tanks are just, you know, eating away at that base. We're just gonna, yeah, we can just let it go slowly. Again, it's almost the exact same layout. Look at that. The second boom cannon and the shot launcher, they're right next to each other, so I was able to shock them together. Throw some critters, just because I didn't want to start using my shocks just yet, because I wanted to save them, especially for that shot launcher in the end there. Plus there was another boom cannon behind the third boom cannon, so right there. That pack of critters was to distract the 2 cannons in the bottom, because I was afraid those were going to start, you know, picking up some of my tanks. And look at what a great job it did. I did put them deliberately right next to the rocket launcher because it would be in the blind spot. Alright, so at this point I wanted to flare again to the left side, just like on the previous base, but there was no need for it. I mean, they were doing such a great job and they were just eating the base away that I was like, oh, maybe I don't even have to. Plus the shield generator on this one is a little bit more inside the base. So I was, oh no, screw this. I'm just going to put down the rifles right in the middle, let them catch up, and then we're just going to try to beat this base, you know, straight on. And that's exactly what I did. I mean, I wish I had put down the rifles a little earlier, but I hadn't anticipated that I was going to just, you know, let them eat the whole base. I kind of changed my mind last second there, because my original plan was to flare them to the left side. But look at that. Once that boom cannon went down, I still have a lot of rifles in there. The priority now was to, you know, shock and go straight for the shot launcher, which is exactly what I did. After that, you know, I just let them clear out the flamethrower and then the mortar, because those would be the only troops that, the only defenses that were going to inflict some damage on me. And then after that, I mean, a little slow because I threw the smoke to protect some of those tanks, but once that went down, I throw the flare. Yeah, flare. Sorry. Kind of roll my tongue in there a little bit. And that was it. Let's let the tank take that one HQ. So that was actually a pretty good attack. I liked it a lot. The one from before was much tougher. I actually failed it a few times, but this one was pretty straightforward and it worked so well. So I was really happy about that. And now I have more spawns. But yeah, guys, I was actually at 15-12 before I started recording, but then I spawned one base, and now I just spawned the other NPC. So anyway, I still have a little bit of boosts left. Like I said, I'm gonna probably give it another try, but I don't have gold. So if I have to stop at 15-10, I'll be happy anyways, as long as my VP keeps on going every day. So whoa, this video is going long. Okay guys, I'm gonna end it right now because this video is really long. Hopefully you guys like the attacks. Some of them are actually pretty good in my opinion, but you guys let me know in the comments down below. Okay guys, I'm X2015. I'll see you guys in the next push. Bye.